Next, a team has located the wreck of Quest, which is the ship used by Sir Ernest Shackleton on his final expedition to the Antarctic. The Anglo-Irish explorer died of a heart attack on board in 1922. The ship sank 40 years later at the other end of the globe near Newfoundland in Canada. Well, joined now by David Mearns, the leader of the team which found the wreck. It's in St. John's, Newfoundland. Thank you very much for coming on the programme.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
So just talk us through how you found it.
Well, we were searching an area about 50 miles off the coast of Labrador using a side scan sonar to locate the shipwreck. This was a planned expedition after months and months of research and analysis to determine the most probable sinking position of Shackleton's ship Quest. And fortunately, all our analysis was correct, and we located it relatively quickly.
And what was the evidence, as it were? How did you know?
We have high-resolution sonar images of the shipwreck that allow us to measure it very carefully and compare those dimensions, the measurements, to the known dimensions of the ship. She was 38 meters long, 10.6 meters wide, and that corresponds exactly to the size of the sonar target that we found. In addition to that, the sonar target shows the shape of the hull. We can see the superstructure. We can see the bow and the shape of the bow, that it had a mast and that the mast is knocked down. And also, it is the only shipwreck that was lost in the general area that we were searching. And it's only about 2,500 meters away from where the ship was reported to have sunk. So if you put all these clues together, it's unmistakable that we have found the Quest. We'll be coming back.
I just want to jump in because the picture we've got here is a slightly confusing one. It's orange for a start. So we're going to put it up on screen and just explain it to us, talk us through it.
Okay, so the orange bit is the hull itself. And the way the sonar works, it's like a light. It's shining a light. It's an acoustic waves that are being swept across the seabed, and they hit objects that are proud of the seabed and reflected back, and that energy is recorded, just like a light shining on an object. So that bright yellow part of it is the hull, and behind it you see the acoustic shadow. We call it acoustic shadow because it's a shadow being created by acoustics, but it's a shadow just like a light. So if that was a big light looking at the wreck on the seabed, you'd have a shadow behind it, and that actually shows the shape of it. And just to the left of the hull, you can actually see a long, slender object. That's the mast that has been knocked over.
I see. Thank you very much for talking us through that. It is slightly confusing when you see it for the first time without any context. For people who don't know, just remind us of the importance of Ernest Shackleton.
Well, Shackleton's one of the greatest, not just polar explorers, but greatest explorers of all time. When the BBC had their famous, the most famous Britons, Shackleton back then ranked at number 11. And obviously he's known mostly not just for his exploits in terms of reaching the furthest south to the South Pole and Antarctica at one time, but also famously he made sure that all his men got back from all their expeditions safely. And in fact, the only person who was ever lost, who ever died on any expedition or ship that Shackleton had direct command over, was himself on the Quest when he had a heart attack and died at 47 years old. So this ship represents the last expedition vessel of Shackleton's storied exploration life, but it also somewhat is an end marker for the heroic age of polar exploration.
I see.
And for that reason, it's historically and culturally very significant.
Well, thank you so much for paying tribute to him, and for congratulations for your discovery and for talking us through that image. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much for coming on the programme. Thank you.